Today, we bring together educators, industry leaders, our faculty, students, and parents to reimagine the future of learning. Thank you all for being here. Edufest 2025 gives you the opportunity to explore career opportunities after 10th and 12th and graduation, as well as study abroad options. Let's begin this journey with a symbol of wisdom and enlightenment. I, Nikki Pathak, a faculty member, on behalf of Vidyalankar Jnanpeen Trust, would like to invite our esteemed speakers, our director, Milind Tadwalkar sir, our principals for Institute of Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Dr. Sangeeta Joshi, Vidyalankar School of Information Technology, Dr. Rohini Kelkar, our COO, Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Dr. Amit Oak sir. All of us, please stand to the stage for lighting of the lamp. Please, I request all the faculty members to come on the stage for the lighting of the lamp. This flame represents the eternal pursuit of knowledge. May it ignite curiosity in all of us today. Let us seek the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of wisdom and learning. Please rise for the Saraswati Vandana.
या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता भगवती निःशेष जाड्यापहा।
Thank you. You may now be seated. To set the tone for today, I invite Dr. Amit Oak, COO of Vidyalankar Institute of Technology and Director of VIT School of Management for his opening address. A warm round of applause, please. Dr. Amit Oak is the Chief Operation Officer of Vidyalankar Institute of Technology and Director of VIT School of Management. In his role as the COO, he manages the operation of the institute, strategizes on the budgetary allocation, supervises the financial management and routine accounts, directs the student council activities, and guides the team on budgeting and sponsorship, and looks into the smooth execution of department and institute events. With his rich and varied experience in the corporate world in training and mentoring roles, media and film finance, and financial service marketing. He imparts many practical and result oriented lessons in management to the student committee. I invite you on stage, sir.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Edufest organized by the Vidyalankar group of institutes. Provoked by intellect, propelled by values, the vision of Vidyalankar group is to positively impact the lives of individuals through education. The Vidyalankar group is an educational organization founded in 1960 by Professor C.S. Deshpande. It provides a range of educational services starting from diploma, commencing from standard 10th, various engineering, commerce, management, and humanities courses commencing from standard 12th, postgraduate degree and diploma courses in management and engineering, and also doctoral programs. Over decades, Vidyalankar has come to be known for providing quality education at affordable prices across various educational streams. Vidyalankar's interest ranges from training institutes to colleges, and subjects range from engineering to management examinations to preparation for studying abroad. Over the years, Vidyalankar has taken various initiatives after understanding the needs of students and establishing various institutes and branches to meet those needs. From test examinations to mock tests, to diploma and correspondence courses, slowly and dedicatedly, Vidyalankar has evolved from a small rented classroom to a large respected group known for its activities in education that ultimately contribute to nation building. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the EduFest today. Today, we come together to explore the limitless potentials of education, which serves not only as a pathway to personal achievement but also as a foundation for stronger communities and a brighter future. A vibrant gathering where knowledge meets opportunity and where the dreams begin to take shape. Today, we come together to celebrate the power of education, a force that transforms lives, shapes futures, and builds a better world. Whether you are a student exploring pathways, a parent seeking the best for your child, or an educator inspiring the next generation, this event is designed to open doors and spark ideas. As you walk through the campus, engage with exhibitors, and attend the sessions, I encourage you to dream boldly, ask questions, and seek out the paths that excite you. Remember, education is not just about gaining skills, but about discovering who you are and what you can contribute to the world. To all the institutions at the Vidyalankar campus and educators are here today, thank you for your commitment to shaping the future. Your dedication to providing quality education and guidance is what makes events like this so impactful. I hope you all leave today inspired, informed, and ready to take your next steps with confidence. Thank you, and I wish you a successful and enriching day at the EduFest organized by the Vidyalankar group. It's my pleasure to see you so many bright futures and faces today. We are here to celebrate the joy of learning and explore the exciting pathways of education. Let's make this a day of discovery and inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for that inspiring start. We now move on to our panel discussion. Today's topic of discussion is Campus to Corporate Navigating the Transition. To introduce our panel speakers, I would now like to call upon Mr. Sachin Kalbag. Sachin Kalbag is editor-in-chief of Midday, one of India's most widely read newspapers. He's been a journalist for 31 years and has served in leadership capacities in Mumbai, New Delhi, and Washington, D.C. He has been associated with Hindustan Times, executive editor, India Today Group, senior editor, The Hindu, resident editor, and midday editor in chief for 2 years between 2022 and 2024. He worked as senior fellow in foreign policy at the Takshashila Institution in Bangalore. Mr. Sachin Kalbag has appeared on BBC Mastermind, considered one of the world's toughest quizzes. He is a prize winning wildlife photographer with a specialization in butterflies. He has served on various advisory boards, including the Maharashtra State Government's Advisory Board of the Accountant General, and is currently on the advisory board of the HNSC University. He is trained in mathematics, statistics, economics, and public policy. He has taught journalism to postgraduate students at KC College, National College, and St. Paul's College. I request you to come on stage, sir. Our next guest, Mr. Sujit Patil. Sujit Patil is an accredited business communication professional and a three-time IABC Gold Quill Award winner. From 2018 to 2024, he has been listed every year on Provoke Media as well Holmes Report, Influence 100 Research, and listing of the world's most influential CCOs, CMOs. He has been listed as India's top 10 men in corporate communication by Reputation Today and featured on the PR Week Global Power Book, the definite guide of PR industries, most influential operators around the world. As a Godrej Leadership Forum member, he is responsible for the corporate brand and communication at Godrej Industries Group, an instrumentation engineer with masters in marketing and diploma in advertising and PR. Mr. Sujit Patil is a regular speaker at national and international platforms and volunteers as a guest faculty at various business schools. He has recently co authored the best selling book, The Pursuit of Reputation. Mr. Sujit Patil is the past chairman of CII Young India, Mumbai, and is passionate about sparrow conservation and girl child education. He is a weekend farmer, loves traveling, understanding culture, and experimenting with new cuisines. I now invite you on stage, sir. Our next guest, Mr. Anand Sakle. Mr. Anand Sakle is a practicing chartered accountant, management consultant, corporate trainer, and educationalist. Mr. Sakle is a fellow member of CA Institute and MBA from Indian Army's Faculty of Management Studies. He is an All India rank holder in CA Intermediate exam. For last 20 years, Mr. Sakle is teaching CA and MBA students. He is a visiting faculty to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, as well as Management Studies. His passion for teaching has helped guided students from IIM and international business schools. Mr. Sakle has conducted various corporate training programs and even acted as a CEO coach. I now call upon on stage, sir. Our next guest, Mr. Dhananjay Patel. Dr. Dhananjay Patel, PhD, is a seasoned academic and researcher currently serving as a professor in the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication at Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Mumbai. He completed his postdoctoral research at IIT Bombay in the field of photonics and earned his doctoral degree from the Department of Electronics and Communication at Sardar Vallabhbhai National Institute of Technology, Surat, India. At VIT, Dr. Patel plays a very pivotal role in driving the institutional research and development initiatives. He is the institute head of India's largest hackathon competition, the Smart India Hackathon, where VIT has consistently achieved national level success for the past 5 years. He is actively involved in project mentoring, guiding innovations from conceptualizations to product development. Dr. Patel has been awarded 6 research project grants, including 3 under Chanakya Fellowship Program 2022 and 23 from the Technology Innovation Hub, Internet of Things at IIT Bombay, supported by the Department of Science and Technology with a total grant amounting rupees 336 lakhs. With a strong background in research, Dr. Patel area interests include electronics and communication, optical communication, radio over fiber, passive optical networks, millimeter, please be seated. With a strong background in research, Dr. Patel's area of interest include electronics and communication, optical communication, radio over fiber, passive optical networks, millimeter wave signal generation and transmission, and optical modulators. I now invite you on stage, sir. Give them a round of applause. Our next guest, Dr. Amit Oak. Dr. Amit Oak, COO, Vidyalankar Institute of Technology and Director of VIT School of Management. Please join, sir. Our next guest, Ms. Shweta Apte, CEO of Vidyalankar Institute of International Education. Shweta Apte is a seasoned professional in the field of transnational education, bringing over 2 decades of extensive experience in international academic, collaboration, and mobility programs. She holds a bachelor's degree in computer engineering, a postgraduate diploma in marketing, and an MBA in international business. Currently, pursuing her PhD in transnational education, Shweta Apte combines her academic depth with practical expertise to drive global education partnership. With a strong foundation in teaching, having spent 4 years in academia, she has since dedicated the last 20 years to advancing international education. Her work spans across major global education destinations, including the USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and the UAE. Shweta Apte specialization in facilitating students and faculty mobility, fostering collaborative education models, and a developing framework for recognition of prior learning. Her strategic insight and commitment to educational excellence have made her a trusted expert in building impactful cross border academic initiatives. I now invite you on stage, ma'am. Miss Shweta Apte will be moderating the session today. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah, ma'am, you audible in the last also because I can see the entire auditorium full today. Can you hear me? All right, great. So, having been introduced with a lot of flowery English and everything, but in a very simple language, in one sentence, I enjoy advising students, right? So that's basically my forte, and that's why I request all of you to be vocal today and make sure that you ask all your doubts before going out of this auditorium. What I have done today is, I have got few questions which were in my mind as an academician, which were probably in your minds as a student, and which are in the minds of your parents. So I have aggregated all those questions here, and I'm going to put those questions to each one of our panelists one by one. However, right now I would like to ask how many of you are looking out for an career in engineering sector? You can raise your hands. All right. Okay. So how many of you are looking out for a career in management and commerce? Okay. And media studies? And where are the others looking out their careers for? Or probably you have not decided till date, right? So this question, this panel discussion probably will enable you to decide the right uh, line and length of your career. Okay, so let's begin with today's first question, and I open this panel discussion with the question that the topic of this panel discussion is corporate to campus to corporate and navigating its transitions. So my request to all of you as a panelist to opine on this one topic today, that how actually the students should be transiting from their campus journey to the corporates, because ultimately all of us do educate ourselves to be successful in the corporates, right? So how can we do that effectively? Let's take their takes one by one. Yes, Dhananjay sir.
Um, Hello, everyone. Teaching since last 18 years, which I've seen passing out graduation students from different colleges. What I've seen, like students need to upgrade their skills, while an engineering degree is not enough nowadays in corporate sectors. This is the most important thing. Okay, they need to have extra certifications, extra courses undertaken, other credits, other research work, publications, patents. It's very important for a graduate student when it is transiting from a campus life to the corporate life. Trust me, I have got feedback of more than 3,000 students saying that when they transit, the most important thing which they find it really difficult in industry is coping up with the work culture. Okay, so many of the technologies which they have studied in the college, the same are not there in the industry. Industry has a different environment altogether, and academia has a different altogether. Here we at VIT, we try to bridge that particular gap between industry and academia, which I will highlight in the further questions if asked, where we try to develop and train our students in such a way that the moment they step in into the corporate sectors or any kind of industry, maybe it may be a hardware industry, it may be a production industry, maybe a software industry, they find it really comfortable and have that exact skill set which is required by all the students to step into that. So we'll discuss more on this when we move ahead with the topics. Thank you, ma'am.
Morning, everybody. I think I'll just add another line to what Shweta spoke about. None of you raised your hands. I don't think she asked the question. How many of you want to be entrepreneurs? You know, everyone wants to do a job, to go to a campus. Can we raise your hands who wants to start off on their own? Uh, Not half hands. I mean, if you want to raise full hands. So I think there are 8, 10, 50, but still the number is more than what people want to do engineering. So give a round of applause to yourselves, guys. I mean, that's what our country needs probably. Starting something on your own, be entrepreneurs, and you're bubbling with ideas. Second observation, which I'm seeing here, is I see more mothers and fathers than kids here. Uh, how many parents can you raise hand? 75% is parents. Kids are not interested, guys. It's you're pushing them. I mean, that's a important point for you to introspect. If the kids had to be there, it was useful for them. The question and the topic today is campus to corporate. I think what Dr. Patel also spoke about additional qualifications, degrees, and stuff, which help. But I think one fundamental thing that I have learned over my last 25 years of a career, which is required when you get into a corporate, is something which is very basic and fundamental. I'll give you a small contextual story about it. All of you have been kids some point of time. Yeah. So when you're real small, what is the trait that defines you? You are dependent. Am I right? You're dependent. You're behind your mother's mama ye do, mama wo do. You're dependent. As you grow a little bit, bigger, you become counter dependent. Have you gone through that phase? Your mother says, look this side, you'll look that side. Am I right? Your mother says, eat food, you'll say, no, I'm not hungry. Can I hear a yes or a no? Yeah, so that's counter dependency. And then when you come to colleges, 10th, 12th, you claim that you are independent. Am I right? Some pocket money, some here and there, and then you become independent. You don't listen to your parents, you don't listen to your professors. All these things are not going to help you at all when you come to a corporate. Corporate needs a different angle, and that's called interdependency. What is interdependency? Anyone? Sorry, I don't mean to be a professor here, but the point is interdependency is something which is above all these three things. It's about seeking help, meeting people, helping each other, understanding what's required for your own growth. Interdependency is seeking help basically. And I think that is one thing, seeking advice. And I think you're the right place probably with the August gathering here, which is going to help you transition very smoothly from your campus to the corporate. So I think dwell more deeper into there, but remember the word interdependencies. Yeah. So thanks for that right now, and we'll move on.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Fine. I totally agree with what Dhananjay said and Sujit also. But I would like to make a small addition. What Sujit said was how many wants to become entrepreneur. But what currently is needed, at least not entrepreneur, but you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Whether you're employed or you're an employee of any organization. For example, we and Sweta are working for Vidyalankar. And you might have seen today the program or the Edufest, what we are doing. It's purely with the entrepreneurial mindset because bottom lines are very important. Now, I'll not speak the corporate lingo, but around 28 years I have been into teaching as a visiting faculty. When I started teaching, uh, I never ever thought that there would be a need to mobilize and motivate students to join any course. बच्चे तो आएंगे ही, हमें पढ़ाना ही है. But within next 5 or 6 years, it was a nightmare that we need to solicit, we need to talk about our institute, we need to deliver, and then student will make a choice for joining an institute. So today, every corporate house requires a work ready candidate. They don't have time for you to train. So when you are out of the institute, you have to be ready to deliver. And that is the biggest change. And what at Vidyalankar we have realized that. So we have designed, being autonomous institution, we have designed the course in such a way that the day you have a degree in your hand and when you go out in the industry, you are industry ready. And I think so that is the major change which has come in this last couple of years, because your competition is no more with men or human beings, it's with machines. And it is going to go more and more wider down the line. Mm. And as rightly said by all these, more on this, how we need to make a change in ourselves. What are the deliverables and receivables at Vidyalankar? We'll be talking this in the due course. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Uh, Sorry, my mind was a little distracted because I'm constantly getting updates on the India-Pakistan thing. So firstly, thank you for being here because this is a time of national crisis, and yet all of us are here because we are trying to secure our future in many ways. Uh, just to add to what the other panelists have said, is that uh, one of the uh, one of the things that perhaps Vidyalankar and many other colleges and universities will be able to impart to our students is the ability to multitask. Uh, One of the key topics of engineering that we learn is either we do parallel programming or sequential programming, and in many of the topics that we learn or we are going to learn, I think parallel programming, parallel learning is going to be extremely important, because as Dr. Oak said, that if we have to be ready uh, for our corporate life, whether we are entrepreneurs or whether we are working in a company, we ought to be aware of several things at the same time. So curiosity, understanding of what that curiosity is going to lead us to. For example, Dr. Oak does profit and loss accounts as well as running the operations. All of us are involved in doing accounting, doing some bit of mentoring, doing, in my case, journalism and online and stuff. Understanding that all of that is happening parallelly. So while we are going to study one particular aspect of engineering, perhaps, or chartered accountancy or management, I I get the feeling increasingly that we have to be jacks of all trades, uh, and that understanding should not be skin deep. It has to be really deep to navigate the world from being a student to being a corporate leader, whether be an entrepreneur or a CEO of a company. So let's hope that over the period of the next 1 hour or so, we will try and address those issues. And those issues to me are really key when you graduate from college and go into the corporate world. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, everybody. Just now, he said about India-Pakistan crisis going on. The word struck me immediately. Atalji's Kavita, I start with it because I see youngsters out here. आंखों में वैभव के सपने हो, पग में गति तूफानी हो, राष्ट्रभक्ति का ज्वार न रुकता, आए जिस जिसकी हिम्मत हो. Okay. तो आंखों में वैभव के सपने. That's what I can see in the eyes of youngsters. आंखों में वैभव के सपने. तो पग में गति तूफानी हो. We need to have that pace with which we have to grow. We are talking about being a chartered accountant. I am from commerce field, economics field. But whatever I am speaking, वो सबके लिए relevant है. Engineering हो या commerce हो या कोई भी हो. When we are talking about 5 trillion economy and we are talking about 30 trillion economy by 2047, first and foremost, let me tell you, you are at the best place to launch your career because you are in the sweet spot at this. This war will fade away, economy will boost, and you have a bright career ahead of you. And with that particular aspect in mind, the program has been arranged transition from campus to corporate. whichever field you may be in, whether it is technology or whether it is commerce or any field, you need to understand how the businesses are evolving. Evolution is gradual, revolution is fast. I would say it is a revolution. It's changing very, very, very fast. It's the dynamic world. The businesses, the way they are happening, the unicorn companies which are coming up, and if you don't change with the times, then you will become redundant, irrelevant. The biggest challenge will be once you enter, you need to be a bit flexible and you should be open to learning. The thing that I find is you get engrossed into a particular role into the corporate, but that development, self development, and the initiative, if you have to grow in the corporate ladder, you need to have that initiative. So when you are transiting from campus to corporate, you will be facing the hard facts of the life. You are here in a very protected environment under supervision of your faculties. Once you go there, you have nobody to fend. Fortunately, being a chartered accountant in CA, there is a something called as articleship. So there is a good amount of 3 years of training to now 2 years of training. I tell everyone that just in the first year, jitna questions पूछना है पूछ लो. Because then once you go there, the work will be given. As rightly put in, you have to be ready. Nobody is there to teach you. So it's how you evolve there. And right, evolve से भी ज़्यादा revolve नहीं, revolution है वो. You have to just ensure that you are adapting fast. So we will speak about other things also in due course. Many questions are there from your end, and ma'am also will be asking to you.
All right. So thank you. So we have got a basic, input from all our panelists regarding the transition from campus to corporate. But that comes a little later. What I want to ask Mr. Sujit is, uh, there are two types of skills. What I can see is one is a hard skill, another is a soft skills. What I mean by hard skill is basically something which you learn while you are taking up your particular course, right? But there is one concept of soft skill which most of the time is overlooked, right? We do not really put our head and mind to that what are these soft skills and are they really important? So my question to Mrs. Sujit is how much are these soft skills important for the students when they get into a corporate? And being from an engineering background, I understand we never paid attention to our soft skills and we learned it the hard way. So that's why this question, before I open the faculty specific questions to the panelists, how soft skills are important and how can the students build their soft skills while they are studying?
Well, it's absolutely important in terms of how you present yourself, how you speak, how you groom yourself, uh, uh, because it's not to say in any way that don't bring yourself the way you are. It's important that you're authentic, but then there are certain skills which are required when you move into a corporate where the way you are, because you're representing a larger brand. You need to represent the best possible way. So when you go out and meet your customers or rest of the stakeholders, how are you representing makes a kind of a big sense. But I think let me move to one larger skill which is required, which can be classified under a soft skill, but which can be a huge base for each one of you. And starting now, if you develop it, I think by the time you're ready for a corporate or at a mid position, you are very well prepared kind of a thing. And that skill is about networking. Networking is not about going into forums and eating laddus and having cold drinks and coming back. Networking is about giving back to these forums, creating your own network of people who could be useful for you tomorrow, but not looking at it from a very selfish angle, but what you can provide into their lives. There are so many opportunities today. How many of you have got LinkedIn profiles? That's hardly 10% of you, not even 10%. I mean, this is a time when you start creating those LinkedIn profiles, start showing what you are capable of, what are your aspirations, which are the groups that you need to be associated with. Life is not about Instagram, let me tell you. I mean, we are addicted to Instagram, trying to figure out stuff and constantly on. I see that young lady laughing. I don't know whether your mom or a student, but moms are also on Instagram, unfortunately. But the point I'm trying to make is, social media is important. It's a great way to learn a lot of things, get some life skills, but all the more important is put in more time in terms of building your own networks, building your own profiles, building on your own rationale in terms of what you bring to the table. I think that really helps. Networking also means attending these kind of workshops. I mean, there are bodies like Young Indians, join them. There is a UA vertical where you do volunteering, there you learn life skills. Soft skills also means having a hobby of yourself. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. Corporate pressures are very high, significantly high. And today it's a very fashionable thing. And I, by no means, I'm trying to downplay it, but mental well-being, wellness, they're coming to the fore. In our times, in the 6 7 of us sitting here, if we went and said we are feeling anxious and we are not well and we're feeling very down, one tight slap and all the chakras used to align. Everything used to get back to. Today it's not the case. Today the peer pressure is so much. There's so much of Instagram, there is so much of social media, your peer pressure, what people are doing, it's insane. So all the more important that you need to have some energizers, so build some hobbies kind of a thing. I think those hobbies really work. I can go on and on, but as a soft skill, looking at yourself, being presentable, being well read, being groomed well, being healthy, being active. I think that's a given. And corporates and your bosses will love you for that. They don't want any laggard in the organization who's sitting there, uncouth behavior kind of a thing, no knowledge. Because your college and institutes are going to teach you the fundamentals, but what really the application and the practicality happens on the job. So you need to prepare yourselves for that. And I think that's a very pertinent point, that your soft skills and your ability to understand, soak, and then practice is absolutely necessary.
Thank you, Sujit. Next question is to Sachin. I mean, everybody we understand today is on social media, and each one of us has become kind of an correspondent, you know, or I would say transpondent. There's so much of information which is circulated left, right, and center without much thinking. Um, but we have some, what I can say is a very articulated programs given in the field of mass communication and media studies. And you have specializations like advertising in that, you have specializations like public relations in that, and in addition to that, journalism. So my question to you is, the university has given us three different specialization. Do you think they are independent vertical, or do you think they are interdisciplinary studies? And the person who is studying media and communication should know little bit of each and then could be specializing in one of those.
So, so can you hear me? Yeah, okay. So they are interdependent, of course. So journalism and public relations and so journalism, public relations, and advertising is interdependent. This is exactly what Sujit was talking about, but this is specific to our profession. Uh, and while we are so I'm not a journalist from the training perspective. So my graduation and my post graduation is in mathematics and economics. uh, how I got into journalism is a different story altogether, but and that's not relevant here. But what is relevant, I think, is the understanding of what influences your particular career. So if I'm a journalist, Sujit's work will influence me in some way or the other. If Sujit is a marketing and communications professional, journalism will influence him in some way or the other. And same with advertising. Without advertising, journalism may not function, because advertising provides a chunk of the revenue to media outlets across the world. Unless you have a great subscription um, uh, base like the New York Times or the Boston Globe or the Wall Street Journal, for instance. But and that's something that is changing. The dependence on advertising as a revenue stream is changing, but the dependence on advertising will never change. So interdependence in that sense is really really important between the three. And I would just to add a corollary to what you're saying, interdependence is relevant to every single faculty member that who's here, because without understanding of what is happening around the world and applying that to what we are doing is also a part of interdependency. Engineering, for instance, for example, what Dr. Patel is doing, we spoke, you do a lot of photonics, for instance. A lot of the application of photonics is actually in several fields of real life that we use in gadgetry, in the way we conduct ourselves every single day. So what Dr. Patel does, or what the field that he specializes in, has interdependencies elsewhere, and that comes back to what engineering does. Much of the work that engineering does has importance in medical technology, for instance. So all of that is really important. So to come back to your thing, the journalism, advertising, and PR are interdependent, although they are independent verticals on their own.
I'll just take this opportunity to add something what Sachin. I love the way he's articulated those interdependencies in the whole fields of operations in an organization. I think there's also another important data point for all of you to ponder upon and think about is the world is moving towards fields which are multidisciplinary. There are education systems which are now, I just did a course where they never taught us finance or strategy, or which is in regular courses that we attend as management professionals. The courses was around anthropology, sociology, economics, social sciences. I think that is something which really is going to be required going forward, and that gets validated. Somebody gifted me a book 10 years back. It's a book by, and I would recommend every one of you read that book. It's a book by a gentleman called Daniel Pink. It's called The Wholesome Mind. He lays an hypothesis saying that people, youngsters, kids, and whoever, uh, can be classified into two categories. One is the left side brain people and the right side brain people. Brain sabke paas hai, but the predominance of operation of the brain is left side or right side. Left side brain people are people like Mr. Sakle, chartered accountants, analytics, numbers. And the right side brain people are people like Sachin, myself. We are all engineers, but then we've shifted careers midway. The right side brain people are people with sociology, anthropology, media, arts, culture. And guess what? In times to come, the predominant competency which is going to be required, research has proven that, and there are white papers on that. The world is going to require a lot of more empathy, which is understanding of how things operate, a lot of authenticity, a lot of culture, a lot of anthropology, how things have evolved, social sciences. The world is also going to be predominantly belonging to people on the right side brain capabilities. Left side brain wala, unfortunately, fortunately, AI will take over. Accounting would be done by AI. Stuff which is, all the repetitive tasks would be done by AI. So I think there's also a need in terms of those interdependencies, Sachin said, maybe building capabilities in the realms of these right side brained competencies would also be really helpful. And I think that's the limited point that I wanted to add.
Just one small thing I would like to add, whether it is left side brain or right side brain, keep it open. Okay. Let your brains, eyes, ears, everything be open when you enter into the corporate world. Okay. So let the brains be open.
Right. Thank you. So my next question is, I'm going to beam it to Dr. Patel. But before that, in the space which I work, where I work with a lot of international universities, and what I have found there is the institutions have a very limited uh, contact hours with the students. Say, for example, for one particular subject in the US, what I've observed is there are only 3 hours the students meet with the faculty member. That's it. However, in our academic system here in India, what we see is there are more number of lecturing Okay, we are kind of a education system which is more focused on faculty delivering stuff to the students. So my question to you is, Dr. Patel, that when the students join us, or they join technical courses, how should their attitude be? I mean, should they be dependent completely on the faculty, or there has to be something from the students' end? Because there has to be something what is called as active learning. What I observed when I also taught kind of passive learning. So how important has become this active learning in today's scenario, and how VIT basically encourages this kind of active learning and still fit itself into a very robust academic system of India.
So when the student enters the engineering college, so it's basically a raw material for the faculties and the institute. Okay. The student, basically what I see in student, they have dreams. So when I entered my engineering college, I did from VJTI. I thought one fine day I'll make a time machine. Okay, that is a long year back, like 25 years back. I was thinking that I'll make a time machine. Okay, because I've seen that particular movie and there were dreams in my eyes. Okay, so when a student basically enters Vidyalankar or any of the engineering institute, what we basically inculcate in students is different kinds of skill sets, which will make them more and more ready for the industry. Number one thing, that what Shweta was talking about, that the teaching scenario is very prevalent in India, like more of education is being provided. That has now being changed. Now it's a concept of teaching and learning. Okay, so we are focused more on learning environment. So basically, the mission statement also says that basically we are trying to inculcate a learning environment where we can have scholars creating science, developing science, research for the sake of the society, for the benefits of the society. That is what we are looking for. So the focus and emphasis is more on learning as compared to teaching. Now, how does this takes place? So we try to inculcate students in different kind of trainings. We have, as per the new education policy, we are being the autonomous institute now, and we follow the NEP 2020. And as per the policy, we allow students to have multiple tracks. Just imagine a student from electronics and telecommunication engineer or biomedical department can take subjects on AI/ML if he chooses to. So we provide them the flexibility. Okay, a student from computer engineering thinking of working in pharmaceuticals or developing some kind of techniques, okay, which Sujit was talking about, is multidisciplinary. Just consider of a scenario where a doctor is basically trying to perform an online surgery. So the doctor is in Mumbai and he's performing a surgery in Chennai. Okay, so communication is involved, electronics is involved, robotics is involved, computer science is involved. All multiple disciplinary fields are involved. So, as per the new education policy, we try to develop this particular skill sets in students. So, we have different tracks, or we have different areas where students can study. We have VLSI. India is setting up the biggest VLSI plant, okay, or the chip manufacturing plant in India now, in Sanand, Gujarat. Okay. Apart from that, we have artificial intelligence, we have machine learning, we have biophotonics, we have optical communication, we have 5G courses. There are multiple courses accommodating computer science, biomedical, and in the field of electronics and computer science. Likewise. So students, they undergo different learning processes. Over the 4 years, we try to have a holistic development of the students. We also look after developing the soft skills the student has. We have multidisciplinary courses, which we called as them MDM. Okay, so basically the students can choose courses from different organizations or different curriculums also, and they have to pass the examination. So the overall development of the student takes place when entering into Vidyalankar, basically in the field of you. Basically, you choose any branch, but overall you have a flexibility to decide which course you want to actually go on. And that is how it takes place. More of, it's not like a teaching based system in classrooms also. More learning takes place. The student makes projects. The student works on assignments. The more emphasis is given in presentations by the students, how much the students have understood, how much the students are able to produce. That is more important to us. Like, because faculty teaching is very outdated, like multiple videos are available, information is available all the group. So basically we teach students how to utilize this particular information. That is very important. So here the major focus lies on, so 90% of the learning from my part and only 10% of teaching takes place. So that should be the scenario across all the universities in India.
Yes, that's the basic change that has been brought into the Indian academic system with the National Education Policy 2020. So it's going to be more towards a holistic development of the students and more of an interdisciplinary studies. My next question is to Dr. Amit Oak, and basically my question is, in management education, how well do classroom simulations and case studies prepare students for corporate realities? Because my first question was to Dr. Patel, that how are we amalgamating the industry requirements with the traditional teaching in the classrooms? But we always have been saying that management education is more applied, and in that sense, the simulations and case studies, how does it prepare students for the actual corporate reality?
Fine, interesting, because after a lot of discussion about multidisciplinary, right brain, left brain, uh, learning rather than teaching, what I realize is one thing. Before I answer your question directly, what Sujit has said, what Sachin has said, and everybody has come to a point that uh, multidisciplinary has become the day. One thing you have to understand as a parent sitting here as well as students, when we talk about multidisciplinary aspect and corporate readiness, there's a lot of responsibility on you as students and parents, because it's not enough that we give you opportunities to learn various subjects simultaneously. It becomes very important for all of us to digest that. The question is not what is available on the palette, whether you have that acumen, that you have decided to do a computer engineering, but I am going to teach you financial management also. And that financial management is not for just the sake of completing that course. It is a additional something given to you, for example, to have a job opportunity as an analyst in Deloitte. So that gives you an additional thing. So coming back to the question what Shweta has asked, I don't feel that only management requires something which is called a simulation. In fact, today engineering also requires that, because that is what we are talking about, hands-on. Today, classroom teaching, as rightly said by Dhananjay, is almost outdated. What exactly you have created in the lab is becoming going to be more important. What you have learned in your journals is no more important. Journals, we were discussing upstairs, all sweet memories about GT, which is all my faculty, like glass dressings. Uh, and that has become a history. That is what you said. And what Sujit was speaking outdoors, like geography, क्यों पढ़ाना है? And that is what has happened. Geography has become history now. Wherever you have, wherever you are, you can learn things. Just now, I got a link about YouTube of this particular program, and I think so more than 500 people are watching this also. So it's not the people here. So coming back, simulations, case study is very important, and I think so from day one it should be started, because the students who come to our institute or any institute for doing MBA, they are aware about basics, how to apply them. Just take example what Dhananjay said about a surgery in the medical field. I don't think so actually anywhere the surgery is taught on a live patient during MBBS course. But the doctor is expected to go and perform that surgery. And he does that. Now he has a lot of tools and he has patients also uh, who take second opinion. I think so, including all of us here, we take a second opinion, though it is given by our family doctor, the first opinion. So today the pressure has increased to perform, because that Google Maharaj is available to everybody. डॉक्टर गिव्स यू वन प्रिस्क्रिप्शन, वी गो होम, यू पुट दैट, जेनरिक मेडिसिन है कि नहीं देखते हैं, वो सस्ते में कहाँ मिलता है वो भी देखते हैं, एंड देन वी एज इफ वी आर डॉक्टर्स. So the trust factor is very important, and that trust factor will come only if you perform and show what you have performed. Because I know something, I have written this case, I have written this answer, you judge me on this answer has no meaning now, because the answer what you have written has been given by the faculty, and it is authenticated by him only. But your answer should be authenticated by the industry, by Aam Janta, and then and only then it would be put forth. So, rightly said, and that's why I want to give a small example. At Vidyalankar, we have subscribed to a simulation model, which is like for a small group of students, we are. I would like to proudly say that we have invested a lot of amount where we actually do simulations, where my students play the simulation with the other institute students. Like somebody sitting in Wellinkers and my students sitting here, they online actually do the business simulation, and there they learn a lot. We have subscribed to a lot of Harvard cases where actually they work. And on those Harvard cases, my faculty write cases which are Indianized. Because solving a Harvard case and patting your back doesn't make any sense. What Chitare does in Pune or what Haldiram does in India is more important. Or what I do at Vidyalankar becomes important. This can be a case study, Shweta. We can write one. So basically, what happens is that actually dirtying your hand has become the necessity. So all those things where your marks, your internal, your externals, your journal, your viva, I think so. I'm not an engineer, sorry, but making a bold statement on that, uh, should be a myth. It should be actually you come out with your prototype, you show your prototype, you say that I have created this, and you can patent me on that. And I think so that is what the industry expects. Yeah.
Okay, my
Uh,
next question is
I had
yeah.
a question actually, because I'm speaking from a student's point of view now. For the first 10 grades of your school, uh, we are more or less doing rote learning. Suddenly, when you go to college, you're expected to be curious. You're expected to use that curiosity to do things, which is part of the learning process. So, more the learning process than the teaching process. Just to so if I'm a student, Dr. Patel, and I come to you and you tell me that learning in Vidyalankar or any college, contemporary college, leading college, is dependent more on what you're doing as much as it is dependent on me as the teacher slash a professor. But that jump from rote learning to curiosity is a big bridge to travel. This is something that our school education system has still not taken care of completely. And suddenly, when they go to a university, I mean, all of us have taught at postgraduate levels, and I still find that gap to be far too wide for students to jump from rote learning to a curiosity based learning. So I'm purely speaking from their point of view. Uh, how do you bridge the gap as an academic? And how much of a role does the student and the teacher play here to ensure that these gaps are closed very quickly as they go into the graduation program or a post-graduate program?
Okay, Sachin, that's a very wonderful question. As in that case, we have to fill the gap twice. Okay, when a student, maybe after 10th or 12th, enters into an engineering college, and when a student leaves the engineering college and gets into the corporate sector. So it's a double challenge for us to fill the gap when a student gets into the engineering college and after engineering college when he tries to get into the corporate. Okay. So when we say the learning takes place with hand holding. Okay. So proper hand holding of the students takes place. So that when the student enters into the lab, it's all devices, machines, instruments, okay, computers, everything is very new to them. So the job of the faculty earlier was teaching. Now the faculty has turned into a facilitator. Okay. Where he inculcates that particular knowledge into the students, how to use that particular instruments, machines, how to develop theories, how to what they have learned in theory, how to really see, simulate things, how to really experiment with stuff. Okay, that is what we do in engineering. But always the hand holding is always there. Okay, and most of the scenarios, what we have seen is like the first semester when the student enters in engineering college, we at Vidyalankar has really a nurturing environment. Okay, the faculties of the first year have been trained in a similar way that entering students are just a raw material. They're very natural. Okay, so the utmost care has been taken in first year so that the bridge is completed. They get easily transformed or easily maybe it's very become very easily for them to connect themselves from 12th standard or maybe from 10th standard into the engineering platforms. So that particular care has been taken care of. The hand holding takes place. Apart from this, from when the student enters into second year, we have tie-ups with IITs, we have tie-ups with IIMs and higher level education institutes where our students go there, take some courses, study, give their examinations, and come back to the college. So that is one of the best thing which I can proudly say none other college in Mumbai or in India takes this particular thing. That's called credit transfer program course. That is one of the most thing. We have faculties teaching from US universities to our students. So one of the courses in one semester has been taken by international faculties from US or Canada, higher reputed universities teaching our students. So that also takes place. So our students basically get an exposure of higher institutes like IITs and IIMs. And other than that, they also get an exposure by a faculty abroad. Okay, so now when a student gets into third year or when a student gets into fourth year, as I told that we have multiple disciplinary courses where a student has the liberty to choose, okay, which domain I want to work from. Okay, I am from electronics, I want to work in AI/ML. We have that flexibility, we provide them. So that hand holding, that course gap, which is being seen. If I'm an electronics engineer, how will I able to appear for an AI exam? So that particular course gap is also being taken care by the institute where a student finds it very easy to give exams and he can pass the exam very easily. So that thing is also being done at our level. Okay, so and when apart from this, we also have internships for the students. We have international internships. We have national internships. We also have industrial visits in India as well as we have industrial visits abroad. So we make our students global citizens. Actually, that is our main motto. If you read on many of the campus brochures or basically or the flyers on the campus, you will see that it's basically the objective is to create a global citizen. So that is, I hope I have answered your question. And once that particular student gets into an industry, okay, one of my student, he went to Germany, public funded university. He called and he was, sir, यहाँ पे जो हमने lab में पढ़ा था ना, वो यहाँ पे हम लोग use कर रहे हैं. He's working on a hyperloop technology. Okay, so यहाँ पे we had studied multiple principles of hyperloop, कैसे signals भेज सकते हैं, receive कर सकते हैं, and then for him the transition was very simple कि हाँ वहाँ पे हम apply कर रहे हैं. So that is the theory. So there are multiple examples, like when we sign an LOR, letter of recommendations for the students traveling higher studies, or maybe into corporate sectors, when we give them these LORs, okay, as a faculty. So output बहुत अच्छा आता है. Yeah, thank you.
एक छोटी बात बोलना चाहता हूँ. Parents are sitting here. When Dr. Oak was speaking about simulations, ये simulation से होता क्या है? Basically, a mindset gets created wherein you become a solution provider in the corporate world. Means you start finding the solutions, especially management studies. And अगर आपको corporate world में successful होना है, तो trust me, you need to be a solution provider. Day in and day out, you will be facing some or the other problems. I have seen students from London Business School and Harvard failing. And I have seen students from our institute and India ke C towns, not even B grade cities, C grade cities ke students who enter the corporate world with full enthusiasm, with open mind, they come out with solutions. So solution providing का माइंडसेट अगर आपके पास बनता है, which you have to inculcate, it doesn't happen, and that's what this simulation, they have invested a huge money into that. That's what the simulation is going to help you. So यहाँ से फ्रॉम कैंपस टू कॉर्पोरेट जाते वक्त हमें ये सोच के जाना है कि वी नीड टू बी सॉल्यूशन प्रोवाइडर्स फॉर द प्रॉब्लम्स विच वी आर गोइंग टू फेस. सो वो हमें सक्सेस देगा. यस मैम.
All right. Yeah, my next question is to you only. I mean, being from the commerce fraternity for so many years, the students who are basically taking courses like BCom in accounting and finance or BCom in financial management or BBI, um, in addition to what they study as a curriculum, with what technology should they be prepared when they actually go for an interview?
See, typically in India, if you talk about graduation level, so entry level jobs के लिए जब जाते हैं, what kind of profile is demanded by the industry? Say a graduate level person who is going into the corporate world, what kind of profile they expect? So they expect data analysis, they expect basic software knowledge, they expect basic routine understanding of business. More importantly, the child, the youngster who is joining at an entry level job should be aware of the statutory compliances, especially in the field of accounts, commerce. There are so many compliance requirement like all your direct tax compliances, indirect tax compliances, your corporate law compliances. थेरी सब पढ़ाते हैं, लेकिन उसको करने का कैसे, that is what you will have to learn a bit hard way. When you enter there, when you have a job profile in front of you, so understand the job profile and how you can have a smooth transition is spend some time on your job description and what all things you will have to do. Talk to the concerned people, gather the knowledge, because see, softwares are available, but software use करने को भी तो आना चाहिए. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है, ठीक है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस विल हेल्प यू, बट यू शुड नो वेयर टू सीक द एडवाइस फ्रॉम, व्हाट इज टू बी सॉट. सिर्फ गूगल नहीं सिखाता. You should know the statutory compliances as to how to execute it. And for that, I always give this one small instance. If you look, go to the YouTube and just search how to make chapati. How to make chapati. Okay. A small thing. Moms are sitting here. They will agree with me. You will get n number of videos. How to make chapati. तो समझ में आ गया क्या तुमको चपाती बनाना? Have you understood that? Understood? Yes, you have understood. But can you make it? You cannot make it. सिर्फ समझने से काम नहीं चलता है. Here in learning process, what is happening is you are only understanding things. Now it has to be reproduced in the actual life. तो all mothers will agree with me कि चपाती बना के देखना पड़ता है. It's gender neutral job. Boys also should know to prepare it. So you will have to do the practice for a week, 10 days, 15 days, तब जाके गोल बनेगा. Means करके देखना पड़ता है. Means in short, YouTube watching makes you aware. The learning will only make you aware. The biggest challenge out here is अवेयरनेस से काम नहीं चलेगा, उसको आपको इंप्लीमेंट करना है. यू हैव टू बी अ सॉल्यूशन प्रोवाइडर. सो सॉफ्टवेयर का नॉलेज ले लो, but then start working on it, gather the requisite speed, and it's a learning curve. It doesn't happen on day one, it is a continuous process.
Right. So actually, not knowing is everything, doing is thing, and practicing is, more important. My question here, rather than asking to all the panelists now, my question is for the students. How many of you read the newspapers? Students, I am not asking to the parents. The capacity of this auditorium is, if I'm not wrong, 246. Raise your hands. Students, huh? Please. 246. Four of them, they read newspapers. Now my question is now beamed to Sachin. Oh, yeah, so Gen Zs are that way quite honest, quite upfront, I would say. My question is to Sachin now. I mean, we used to read newspapers, we still read newspapers. Newspapers do come to our houses. The mode of communication has changed. There are now e-papers, but there are in shorts, but people still don't read. Students still don't read. So how important from the perspective of getting into corporate sector reading is, or gathering appropriate information is? And what would you recommend these students who are probably haven't even seen the newspapers or even subscribes to newspapers, how important it is in today's scenario?
More than newspapers, I think the word that we need to understand here is information. We used when there was no internet, or when the internet was not, um, so universal. Uh, we use newspapers as a source of information and source of accurate information. So in that sense, I don't think this generation, or the generation that is going to succeed this generation, is going to be short on information. What I'm worried about, or what I'm not worried is a strong word. What I'm concerned about is the use of information to gain wisdom, and use that information for application of what we do in everyday life, whether professional or personal. So the medium of instruction, or the medium of information, will keep evolving and will keep changing. Information will never change. Information, in fact, has increased many-fold over the last 10 years, and particularly, I mean, past 30 years, since internet became a public thing in 1995 in India. Uh, since then, the mode of information has changed. The mode of delivery of information has changed. Information itself is not, in that sense, changed. So today, if a person is consuming information in the form of an Instagram reel, or in the form of InShots, or in the form of a newspaper article, or anything of that sort, I look at it as information rather than a newspaper or an Instagram reel, or whatever the case may be. Uh, the conversion of that information, uh, Anand gave the example of the chapati. The conversion of that information into wisdom is something that needs to be facilitated by academics and by our corporate world, in the way that we apply that information in real life and real time scenarios. I think that is the biggest challenge for any generation. When we were growing up, we thought that television is going to subsume radio. When radio came in the late 1800s and early 1900s, everybody thought newspapers are going to die. Now that AI has come out, everybody thinks that newspapers and television is going to die, because the mode of information, the mode of using that, or consuming that information, is changing. Our jobs are at risk. This is the biggest question that many people ask me these days: is AI going to consume our jobs? The person who knows AI is going to consume a job, not AI itself. And that's a fundamental understanding, I think, that needs to be taught to this generation, and needs to be hammered into our minds day in and day out. Our adaptability towards evolving technology needs to happen as a professional and at a personal level. It cannot be that today machine learning is so important. Of course it's important, but it's not going to take over your jobs unless you learn how to use that machine learning or AI. There are hundreds and hundreds of tools that we also use. I was just discussing with the panelists outside the door how in the last 1 year, not in the last 30 years since the internet became public, in the last 1 year, and particularly in the last 3 months, uh, Google has changed the way information is served on page one when you search something. For example, if you today, you ask Google, where is the India-Pakistan conflict heading or is headed? you don't get links right on top. You get an AI summary of what is happening right in the beginning, right? I mean, you've seen this change happen in the last 6 months or so. AI has completely changed the way we consume our information. Now, how has that impacted people like me, or in an industry like mine? I'm sure it has impacted other industries as well. Just yesterday, a report came out in the US which says that five of the leading top news agencies in America have laid off close to 50% of their staff because of the AI summary, because people don't click back to the links of ABC News or CNN.com or FoxNews.com. They don't go directly there. They just read the summary and walk away from Google completely, because now they know, abhi maine pad liya hai, now I know what I wanted to know. What has happened as a result is that news agencies like ours do not get the same kind of audience that we got even 1 year ago, and as a result we don't get the revenue. When we don't get the revenue, we're not able to uphold, we're not able to sustain jobs. So what does this mean is that, what does it mean is that if I have to learn to adapt to artificial intelligence and machine learning, I have to adapt my own search engine optimization, and I have to change my search engine optimization at a newspaper level to adapt to what Google is doing elsewhere, which means that I have to adapt, not Google. So in that sense, learning about artificial intelligence is on the is the responsibility is on your shoulders, not on Google's shoulders. Google has hundreds and hundreds of maths PhDs which are working on machine learning and AI to change the way we consume information. So to come back to what Shweta was asking, information itself is not changing. The mode of information, the mode of delivery of information is changing, and it's the same for every single sector that we are interacting with these days. So Netflix, when I was stationed in the US, Netflix was a delivery service using DVDs. By the time I left the US 2 or 3 years later, it was completely on the internet. Today we buy internet because we want to consume Netflix and videos, and mostly, of course, we do that. So the way we are getting information will keep on evolving. Information itself will not change.
Great.
To add what rightly said by our panelist and what Sachin said right now, uh, when you used to say, we had an idiom, ki change is constant. But now a time has come when you have to be changing. So the responsibility, again, I'm telling you, the parents are here. Every day in the morning, try and meditate and say, today what new I am going to learn. Because all of you who are aspiring to become engineers, it's a 4 years degree course, as of now at least. Because we don't have a fast track in India. And 4 years is, believe me, too long period. You just think about doing a computer engineering or IT engineering. I don't know what आपण मराठीत म्हणतो तुमच्या पुढे काय वाढून ठेवलंय 4 वर्षानंतर. I don't think so any one of us sitting here would be able to really think about or predict. How many of us really knew that we are going to be at least for 4 months going to be shut in our own house? How many of you predicted here? On 10th of March, you knew that you're going to be there at home, stalled or playing cricket on the other station on the tracks. So AI आने दो, कुछ भी आने दो, we can't predict. And these 4 years are going to be crucial. You take admission for IT engineering or computer engineering, don't be happy.
I think another, important perspective for all of you in terms of continuous learning, and I can give you an example sitting, I was just observing almost all of us sitting here. She's an engineer, but into academics. He's a chartered accountant into academics. He's an economics and a math graduate in journalism. Ex-banker, now in academics. I'm an ex-engineer into brand and communication. Your calling comes later. When you are going to be training as an engineer or a commerce graduate or whatever, don't leave that option closed saying कि मुझे अब यही करना है, मुझे इंजीनियरिंग करना है, मुझे टाइम मशीन ही बनाना है. मतलब 2 महीने बाद पता चला I want to maybe do something else. So this reading habit and being aware of what's happening in the world, in this VUCA world as we call it, very volatile, uncertain kind of a world where, as you very rightly said, we never predicted the COVID. We We didn't expect India, Pakistan, we don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. Being agile, being really nimble-footed, and being aware of what's happening would be very important for each and every student here, because once you join a corporate, that's when your realization really comes कि okay shit यार मैंने engineering किया but मुझे तो इस field में ज़्यादा passion. The only advice, unsolicited advice I would like to give all the youngsters is follow your calling, because end of the day your parents have done a lot of stuff for you, probably have a house, you don't have to worry about building a new infrastructure. You need to worry about your happiness, and your happiness is going to come from only one point, which is your calling. What you need to do is what is coming from the heart, rather than getting under peer pressure. Peer pressure is like putting a post on Instagram and then waiting like किया किया किसी ने. Do you face that? Yeah, कितने like आए, कितने ये आए. I mean, मेरी friend को तो 200 like आए मुझे. Don't worry about what's happening bahar. Look at yourself, look at your capabilities, build on them, and keep the options open. Because I can bet all of us sitting here, at least I can talk about myself. After finishing 12th, I had just two options: medical में जाओ या engineering में जाओ. There was no other option provided. Today there's options galore. I mean, there's a plate full of options. There's data science, there's robotics, I'm talking about engineering side, there's digital creation, there's just tons of options available. You find your calling, what is it going to rock your boat, what's going to make you happy, and pursue that. And that's where you get into the excellence part. I think that's what will make you happy. Otherwise you'll keep under the pressure of catching up with the Jonases, and you'll be unhappy. That happiness is important.
Yes, now with this, I'm going to wrap it up this session, but then I'm just going to summarize what we have covered in this session, that there are multiple avenues open for the students. Somebody could be wanting to study in engineering. Of course, you have all those options, maybe in computing, IT, electronics, telecommunication, biomedical, and many more engineering branches. You follow your career. There are branches in commerce and management. Of course, those who are inclined towards those fields, please absolutely feel free to get to that. Don't get under a pressure that my friend is doing engineering, so am I supposed to do an engineering? Don't bother about that, because there are so many opportunities, as said by Sujit, in the world today, that every single individual is important. However, what I have come across in my advising career so far of about 20 years is you have to be basically up for learning things. I mean, when I hire people for my institute, what I see is after having cleared the entrance test and all of those, I basically check for the attitude. Things or skills can be trained, attitude cannot be trained. And that is what I see students do not work on. You people have to work on the attitude, and that attitude, of course, is a positive one. Always up for learning, always up for basically adapting to the changes that are happening, so that you will remain relevant to the industry every time. Second thing, when I interact with a lot of abroad universities, because now I feel geography has become history. As Dhananjay Patel also said that, we have faculty teaching from US or Canada to our students. Similarly, we have established a lot of pathway programs where students can study half and half and graduate from the partner universities. Those options are there. But when I interact with these university and people on campus there, what I typically find is somewhere our students lack on the awareness part. They are absolutely great in terms of their skills. Technical skills, superb. But where they lack is contribution, communication, participation, because of lack of right information and the communication skills. So soft skills becomes all the more important along with the hard skills that you learn as a part of your curriculum. Third thing, what I believe is what we understood is the persuasiveness. Today is a world where we keep scrolling reels which are 30 seconds. वो 30 seconds भी हम लोग नहीं देखते हैं, right? and we keep on consuming something which comes our way. दैट इज डेटा इंजीनियरिंग बेसिकली, कि जो आ रहा है वो हम लोग देखते जा रहे हैं, कंज्यूम करते जा रहे हैं, बट हम लोग भूल रहे हैं वहां पे एक सर्च बार है. You have a choice, you have that button to choose information which you should consume. So be more aware, be of the nature that there are a lot of things happening in and around you. Get right set of information and keep pursuing your passion. I mean, I always say that I have a very great example that we wanted to make a partnership with one of the finest university in the world, that is Monash, which has partnership only with IIT Bombay, right? And we basically was trying hard to get through that articulation, and it, trust me, it took me 3 years. It took me 3 years to do that articulation with Monash, which is ranked 43rd in the world now. But the day I got it, I kind of underlined and made a full stop there, that persuasive nature will bring you to a very different level. जब तक आउटपुट नहीं आता है उसके पीछे पड़ो. स्टूडेंट्स पेशेंस थोड़ा कम हो गया है. डोंट लूज योर पेशेंस, कीप एट इट. That is something which I always tell my students, be aware. Other than your technical stuff, read something else so that you can contribute. Matlab, when you go to the US, people talk about their web series. You can't talk about web series here. You should have knowledge about them as well. They talk about their history. So you should know American history. You should know their history as well. So being aware is also one important thing. And of course, Vidya Lankar is making a deep effort from all these aspects to make student a global citizen, which our founder, present managing director always say that the job landscape is changing and the industry requires a person who has basically all these skill sets along with a positive attitude. So do whatever you like. As Sujit said, ki you have to be happy. You will remain happy if you do something of your choice. If even music is your passion, follow that. किसने सोचा था इतने चैनल्स निकलेंगे, इतने कॉम्पिटिशन्स निकलेंगे और कोई इतने सारे सिंगर्स बनेंगे? Nobody had thought, right? So don't constrain. I mean, this is an advice to parents also. जैसे उन्होंने बोला कि अच्छे मार्क्स मिलते थे हमारे टाइम में तो इंजीनियर या डॉक्टर. दैट्स व्हाई आई बिकेम एन इंजीनियर. got decent marks, so got into an engineering program. डिप्लोमा किया, फिर उसमें भी अच्छे मार्क्स मिल गए तो डिग्री किया. बट माई एक्चुअली कॉलिंग वॉज पीपल मैनेजमेंट. और फिर ग्रेजुएट होने के बाद मैंने बोला कि ठीक है, अभी लेट मी डू व्हाट आई वांट. But when I learned engineering, that developed an analytical skill sets in me, which I use in management now. Right. So I conclude with that, and I thank all the panelists for giving absolute relevant, I would say, not great, relevant piece of advices from their experiences. And yeah, so there are different institutions waiting for you to interact. You find your calling and make a well-informed decisions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of you. I am greatly happy to see the auditorium full of inquisitive students and pens. So thank you so much to you as well. So let's have a big round of applause for your own self, right? Thank you so much.
That was indeed an inspiring discussion. We would like to thank our panel speakers. I would now like to invite Dr. Sangeeta Joshi, Dr. Vaishali Malkar, and Dr. Varsha Bhosle to come on stage to felicitate the speakers. Dear students and parents, we will be having concurrent counseling sessions at multiple venues within M Block in our institute. Please find the details for the various counseling session and venues where these will happen. Our volunteers and faculty will guide you to these venues. We also have information booth in the M Block lobby where you can speak to our faculty for information on courses offered by Vidyalankar Group in Engineering and Technology, Commerce, Media, Arts, Science, Management, and Study Abroad options. All the best. I would now conclude this entire session. Let me read out the career counseling sessions that are going concurrent in M Block. M101, 11:30 to 12:30, engineering streams after standard 12. 12:30 to 1:30, trending specialization in technology after standard 12, IT and data science with study abroad options. M202, 11:30 to 12:30, careers in engineering after standard 10th with study abroad options. M203, 11:30 to 12:30, careers in management and commerce after standard 11 with study abroad options.